Ahoy, hoy, friends. Welcome to the Salon. We lost Matt as we went live. Hopefully he'll be able to rejoin us. Hello to our friends in the audience. Hello to my fellow Saloners. Happy Thursday. Happy new episode of Star Trek Discovery, Season 5. Sadly, the final season, but exciting episodes. And sorry if you hear that in the background. My dog is sneezing a lot. You okay, sweets? Cute. Who's excited? There's Matt in the chat. Her sneeze is so cute. Lots going on today in this episode and in our lives. Hello. Do you want to say hi? That's what this is? Or you just want attention? Come here. She wants to say hi. Hi, Tendy. You sweet girl.
It's
All
the
right.
cutest Tendy I know.
Yes. Yes. We are excited to talk about this episode. I really enjoyed it. I know there's lots to talk about with it, and I'm vamping to get Matt back on here so that we can make sure that he's included as we do the things. Let's vamp. How's everybody doing on this Thursday?
Apparently great. Everyone's doing great.
I was going to say something and then I was like, no, let's just awkwardly stare at him and make this really weird. So that's what I did. I'm great. How's everyone else doing?
Fine. Yeah, fine. Same shit, different pile, you know.
I hear you.
Yeah. 1 week left at my job, so I'm very excited about it.
That's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Joanne.
My new catchphrase is, what are you going to do, fire me? I've stopped doing anything. It's fabulous.
It should be.
Yeah. Joanne's got nothing to say. She's like, I'm staying on mute.
She's not talking to
I was like, what? I didn't hear the question.
We're vamping. We're waiting for Matt.
We're vamping.
Yeah, we're vamping. How are you? How's your day?
It's been long. That's why I'm a little out of it. I had to take a nap, and so I'm trying to. I don't wake up gracefully. I know, shocker, right? But I have to ease into things.
Well, get your shit together, damn, Joanne. You only got 2 hours here. You gotta get that shit together quick, sister.
I'm trying.
While we're vamping, I can talk about what I referenced while we were backstage.
Yes, I'm super curious. I want to know.
My Twitter is blowing up right now because I fell into one of those trends where it's like somebody said use this and it's a greater than symbol to trigger a fan base, and I tweeted out using a Rolaren picture is greater than Chakotay picture, and which is objectively true, I guess,
right.
But
inarguably.
The replies I'm getting, that like I thought like, oh, harmless Trek fun, but my goodness, I'm at 218 likes, which is super weird, and then so many people, including Will, they're like, this is a controversial take. Somebody is like, I don't think you understood the assignment. Not remotely controversial. That's Trevor. Triggers nothing. Not even a question. Least triggering one I've seen. Easily the most true one I've seen. No, this is just factual. This is just facts. Do people have nothing better to do with their lives than trigger people? I love when people take Twitter too seriously in an absolutely not like real world thing. It does not matter. This isn't a news thing. This John Hazard at frankly_webcomic. Do people have nothing better to do with their lives than trigger people? I know it's good for engagement, but it makes Trek and other fandoms crap places to be. Also, Ro and Chakotay are both good characters.
Say their names. Say their names.
Drag her.
John Hazard.
Drag her.
And people are rightly pointing out the reason why I put that is because my what if scenario that I most want to see in Trek is Ro instead of Chakotay. Imagine that she had been the leader of the Maquis that Captain Janeway. Man. Oh, I love it. Taking, having to go after that group of Maquis, led by Ro Laren. And I want to be very clear, the sexual tension between the captain and Chakotay in the first season would still be there in this scenario. The future is Pan.
Work. Now, if you really wanted to trigger them, you would have said Ro was greater than Kira, and your Twitter would have exploded.
But so would Stan. Stan would have exploded himself by
Never.
saying such a thing.
But you know what's funny is they somebody retweeted me and said Kira's greater than Riker, and in a lot of ways I agree.
I mean, it's not wrong.
I don't know. I'm sensitive about Will Riker.
You want to be sensitive with Will Riker. Oh, sorry.
I want to be sensitive on Will Riker.
Oh goodness.
I'm giving you credit even though he didn't push the button.
I was distracted by Matt's texting with what the issue is. Apparently he uses Safari. Who uses Safari?
No.
No one here.
I've been on
one. Which one was it? It's this.
Close
A little
enough.
delayed, but
Yeah.
earned.
What?
Somebody
streamed from my iPad.
Somebody
That's nice to
replied
know,
to
Matt.
that saying this isn't triggering, and I was joking, and I replied to it saying I've triggered replies, haven't I? And somebody was like, "No, you're just trolling." And I went to reply to them, and the tweet had been deleted, except
How are
it
you-
wasn't deleted. I went and I've been blocked by that guy. He was super hot too.
How are you trolling your own post?
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
Well, I do think like it could be seen as like I'm rage farming, trying to get engagement, but like to what end? Well, I mean to this end. Please like and subscribe.
I mean,
Balloons?
okay,
Yes.
like because no one comes to Twitter for attention.
Right.
Right. People
Oh,
are dumb.
goodness.
The whole point of that post was it literally says trigger the fan base.
Right.
Right.
People are dumb.
That's the
Reading
whole-
is
yeah.
fundamental.
Yes. Well, and it's funny because
Reading
like
comprehension though is sorely missed.
yes, because like
Apparently that's extra. Reading comprehension, that's extra.
Well, I
You gotta
will
get that
say
a la carte.
there are people who are fans of Chakotay, so it is possible that I could have triggered people with that post. They're just wrong. Welcome back, Matt.
But Rob, he
Hi.
has one fan, and it's Robert Beltran, and he did not reply to your quote.
Yes.
He wouldn't be able to, isn't he blocked?
Oh yeah, he's blocked.
Yes.
It's a
Very
badge
very
of honor.
liberal with the blocking. As is another Trek actor that I don't want to get into tonight. But
No.
Trek
But raise
Twitter
your
is-
hand. Raise your hand if you've been blocked by Robert Beltran.
Maybe.
I don't even look. I don't care enough to look.
Joanne's
Yeah.
like probably. I think that counts. Will. I think if you
Oh.
if you just don't give a shit, I think you're probably.
It's a spiritual. I'm spiritually blocked. Spiritually, I don't need that dark energy in my home. I don't need
This is
the
snakes
thing.
to start to manifest and appear in my home. Dealing with that man.
I support that.
No, you would just hear the snake start whispering in your ear. Thanks, beautiful.
Ugh,
Yeah.
gross.
Ugh.
You're a
Do you want me to-
lovely woman.
All right.
And then
Well,
he
on
builds
that
you a
lovely note,
bathtub.
thanks, Matt. Welcome back. Let's get this salon going. Welcome to the salon, everyone. We're super jazzed to talk about the latest episode of Star Trek Discovery, Season 5, Episode 8, Labyrinths. Let's get into it. And the way we get into it is, of course, by setting an intention.
And to set an intention this evening, I thought it would be fun if we dove headfirst into this episode, and each of us shared if we were to ourselves be trapped in a labyrinth of virtual self-discovery, who would your Trek guide through this labyrinth be? And I will start as I always do. And I'm not going to steal Stan's answer.
Thank you.
Well, actually, I might. Now that so now I'm doing the whole thing of like, well, what if I pick the one that he's? Yeah, I'm like triple guessing myself. But I'm going to be guided through the labyrinth by Deanna Troy. First of all, we're going to solve all of our problems over chocolate. And second of all, I just want to hang out with Deanna Troy. So she's going to be my spirit guide through the labyrinth. And now I want to know who yours is going to be. And Sohail, I think we all knew that James Kirk was going to be your answer before you ever even shared it with us. Which this came through the pre-show chat already, so that you're sharing it now, I appreciate. But yes, we knew that yours was going to be Jim Kirk. Mine is Deanna Troy. We'll go around the room, starting with Will, and then working our way over. So, Will, who's your labyrinth guide in Trek?
It's a great question. I originally was just going to say one that I knew someone else was going to say, and I was going to be a dick about it, but I'm not going to do it. I actually, thinking about it,
Speaking of being trolled on my own podcast,
on your own podcast. Oh goodness. I surprisingly I would pick Janeway. I feel like that would be the I have for some reason like I always liked women teachers as a kid. I didn't want a male teacher. Like I was in a male teacher's because gay. But I was like, oh, I'm not dealing with a man in a classroom. Even as a child, I was like, absolutely fucking not. So and for some reason she like I mean this in the best way possible. This is the highest gay compliment. She gives me like English teacher vibes. And like I was like, yes, I would come out to this English teacher. So that's
she's
what I
the
want.
come out to, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So that would be Janeway. She'd be my guide.
I love it. She gives me English teacher / guidance counselor vibes.
A little bit.
I was going to say
yeah.
theater teacher. Like she
yeah.
At a smaller
English
school
theater.
that doesn't have a dedicated theater teacher, like they make the English teacher do the plays.
AP English and performing arts. Yeah, she teaches AP English.
Well, I never usually ask questions about people's responses to the intention setter. I do have one quick question, which is just, will you do your impression of her to her?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Her impression of her doing Katharine Hepburn, but also it's Janeway at the same time. Yeah.
We could land the ship.
We could land the ship. Yeah.
Will, my thing is she gives English teacher vibes, except it's an English teacher who is also like the coach of the women's softball team. That's like, no, you're gonna fucking like she has those points. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like her English class, you do like a whole half the semester is just like Emily Dickinson or something. Like it's like that type of English teacher where their whole thing is built. I actually had a teacher actually like that. But yeah, it's more like this.
But it's a holo novel.
I'll be your guide.
You live in it for I'm with you.
Yeah.
She isn't.
A holo novel. I'm the governess. Yeah.
Matt.
So I was originally, obviously my gut instinct was either actually going to be Janeway or Jadzia Dax. Like, okay. But then I got to thinking about it. And if I was stuck in like a mind labyrinth, like I had to get through, and it was somebody that wasn't totally helpful, but like just helpful enough and keeping, it would probably be Quark. Like I could see that being my episode, that it's like, it's Quark that has to guide me through. And is like, I'll tell you the secrets for 12 bars of Latinum. And then it's like, I don't know. I could just see that.
Like his dream.
Yeah.
When his brother was the first Nagus, it'd be like that.
That's exactly the vibes I'm getting with. Like, he would just be like, yeah.
But it's when they tried to get that hollow version of Kira, but it was with Quark's body. Or with Quark's head on her body. It's that, though. That's your guy.
And it's all just pink LeMay and God, like everything everywhere. Yeah.
It's Kevin's body and Quark's head.
Yeah.
Also, Matt, just a little spoiler.
We're live. Sorry.
Whoopsie. Bonus points for picking a bartender. Well done, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Joanne.
So my guide through the labyrinth I was torn. Quark was on my list too, but I think it would be Lwaxana Troy. Number A, I need a full-on empath. I don't need Troy's kind of half or quarter or whatever she is. I need somebody to fully tell me, what I'm feeling because I think all of my emotions are angry. Um, so I need her to be like, no, girl, that's not what you're feeling in this moment. And I also know she'd get, sick enough of my shit that she would finally just tell me, and just say, hey, this is what's going on. Let's go. Let's go have a drink. So, Loxana.
And what's a virtual labyrinth without a mud bath with Luoxana? So go
The
for it, girl.
fewer, the fewer.
Fearless leader.
So I want to say who you all were alluding to. I'm sure I
I
want
don't
to
know what
say
you're talking about.
Kira, but Kira would probably be my Tilly to this episode scenario. I'd be like, why isn't it? My mind should have picked Kira, but it would probably be Garrick. I think
Ooh.
my brain trying to be helpful but not helpful enough would be like, I believe this is where I come in. It would be Garrick. It'd be delightfully queer. He would be helpful, but in the least helpful way. It would be
Kind of like
great.
the episode of DS9 when he was. Whose mind
Oh
was
yeah,
that?
that
Who was
terrible.
Bashir? Wasn't it
Bashir getting older
Yeah,
with the tennis
yeah.
balls. Yeah.
Yeah.
When he was inside Bashir, right? That episode.
Yep. Yes. But also one of my quote guilty pleasure episodes of Star Trek is Dr. Bashir, I presume. Like there's a reason for the Doctor to be slightly problematic in that episode, at least, which does not exist in the other episodes in which he is ragingly problematic. But Garrick in that episode is hilarious. Like when he wakes up and is like, another decorator's nightmare. It's like the stakes couldn't be higher. And he's commenting on the decor. That's camp. That's queer. He is my mind goblin or whatever. A lovely intention setter as always, Trevor. Thank you very much. And how dare you, Matt? If you're talking about Dr. Bashir, I presume, as a terrible episode, that episode is fire.
Read the
No,
comment
we were
above.
talking about
Distant
distant
Voices.
voices.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Oh, sad. But Deborah Wilson. Wait, is that no? That's the sound of her voice. Never mind. Distant voice. Yes. Yeah. We were just talking about it. I'm here. I'm fine. Everything's fine.
I'm like,
Hi,
you
everybody.
catch up, Stan. You catch up.
Get
Girl,
your
the
shit
crossfade
together.
is early tonight.
No, I'm not even drinking. This is protein and probiotics and
I'm sure.
magnesium and fiber. I'm on a fiber kick lately with
Bitch, what?
not sponsored but accepting
You're
sponsors.
what's the over under on you pooping your pants before this fucking salon is over?
We're gonna
Jesus
find out
Christ.
together. We're gonna find out
Probiotics and
together.
fiber and all that. Good lord.
Funny enough, this might be an allusion to
No,
an
mute
allusion
him
to
now.
a comment coming later in the episode. And with that, I'm not. Oh, I got rid of the alert. We're not doing it. We're just.
Thank you.
We are moving on. Oh no, it is still there. But here I am.
Don't you.
I'm not. No,
don't.
I'm clicking delete video. It's gone.
I will leave the salon right now.
It
I
is
hate
gone.
that clip. I hate it.
Don't you worry.
Thank you.
For people wondering,
No,
go
we're
back
not
and
wondering.
watch last week's episode. Also, before I kick us off fully, do please like and subscribe this nonsense. It's super helpful for us to help grow the audience. We've got 26 people watching right now. Are all of you 29? Welcome to the new 3. Are all of you subscribed on YouTube? If not, take a
29.
moment to go to it's 28. Yeah. I get it. It's fine. But we would appreciate a like, a subscribe, comment on our videos. Please engage with us in the chat. We love to see it. We love to have you all. With that, let's get into Labyrinths. Let's get out of this labyrinth of self-aggrandizing, please like and subscribe-ness of mine and get into our top thoughts of this episode. The delay. This is our 60-ish second rant on the episode in full, what we liked, what we didn't like. Before we deep dive different parts of it, I will kick us off and then we'll go in the order in which we find ourselves on the screen. Let's go to Joanne. We'll skip Trevor so he can close us out. Then we'll go to Will, Matt, and then to Trevor. Remember that. Don't deviate from it. I'm about to cough. I'm fine. I love this. I am a mess today, and I don't know what it is. I'm like 3 minutes behind in every meeting and class, and
I think it's on account of the fiber.
yeah. Let's take a breath, take a sip. Cheers to Star Trek. Top thoughts on this episode. I loved it. I love this episode. We got humor, we got character development, we moved the story along. We got Michael saying it out loud finally. Like, I love when we as the audience get to see a character have a realization. Like, we've known since season 1 that her driving force is fear of failure. And the execution has been wonky at times, I'll fully admit. This is one of the bigger criticisms of the show overall, but I really enjoyed that in this episode they were like, yeah, no, we know, like, this is her deal, and actually seeing her process it was really lovely. The way that they went about that conversation was delightful. The visuals were, as always, stunning. I loved the labyrinth. I loved the ships. The jumping while pretending to be destroyed was really fucking cool. The shield tunneling thing was really cool. That fleshlight of a Breen ship is doing the thing, and I loved it. And like I said, I love the humor when Michael said, "Damn, my mind should have picked Tilly," and then Burnham's mind book was like, she would have been frustrating too. And I loved David Ajala in this episode. That, like, he is serving cunt, he is serving mother somehow, and I love everything about it. I love that it's in Burnham's mind, and it's somewhat the program that was left, but it's also from her mind. So in a little, she kind of sees book that way. The future is pan, the future is queer, and I loved it. Super fun episode. Joanne, how about you?
I liked it. I didn't love it, but I loved moments of it. I agree. I thought, Book was fabulous in this episode, from the moment in the library with the wood cuttings from the world tree on Quajon. I was full on emotional with him, to, the fierceness of the Avatar engaging with Michael and him strolling in that robe serving. Yes, I was just like, you better work, bitch. So I love that part. I also really enjoyed Michael's unpacking of and commentary really on, yes, it was, her kind of coming to terms with herself, but also, I think, like you said, Stan, just really speaking to some of the critiques and how people look at her and how people respond to Michael out of their own sort of unconscious bias. I really love that. It was very reminiscent of me of the scene from Scandal. I know it flashed from the past, with Daddy Pope and Olivia. If you've never seen the "you have to work twice as hard to get half as much as them" speech, I encourage you to look it up on your YouTube machine. Fierce, fierce. But every um, Black woman in leadership has had that moment and had that feeling of, why am I always being challenged? Why do I always have to prove and justify my presence in this place, when I work, again, twice as hard to get half as much? So really love that. And then I also appreciated on the bridge the kind of nod and hat tip to Mae Jemison, with the commander at the, I don't know what station is at, the helm or the op station. So maybe, you know, the first actual astronaut on Star Trek. And just again, kind of right after that, to give kind of call out to another Black woman who did extraordinary things. So I really loved it. I love that.
I like this episode. I thought it was pretty good. Pretty tight in terms of the structure of it in a good A/B situation. I thought really solid work. I do like that. One of my criticisms of Discovery as a series was that like they kind of the universe bends to the will of Michael Burnham in some way. I know she's the central figure of the show, but like it seems like any situation bends to her in some way, and them kind of explaining it like whether this was a I don't even know how I would call it, justifying some of the writing choices, like them kind of spelling it out in a more overt way, I think was really helpful and might color some people who are paying attention, color their kind of experience of the series on a rewatch, maybe seeing that like this is all coming from something, a deep insecurity in Burnham where she's afraid of failure, which was great. I thought all the performances were really solid. I thought just it was pretty good all the way around. Like if I had to give a rank, I think it'd be like 3 3/4 stars. I think it's pretty solid for the season. Good character development stuff. I'm a little weary of Maul. We all know this. I thought her ascending the throne was maybe interesting, and might be an interesting development for her character. I'm a little bored, but other than that, I thought it was pretty good. I love the librarian. I don't remember what was her name. I don't remember what it was off the top of my head.
Hyrel.
I mean, like she's the librarian you're going to come out to. I would come out to Hyrel, absolutely. Like icon, like really funny. But yeah, no, thought it was good. Good, solid episode. The season so far has been pretty even. Like I haven't gotten any real. There's been some wonky ones, but there hasn't been any real duds. So it's nice that the trend is continuing. Matt, bring us down some negativity, sister.
No, actually, I really thought that this. I really liked this episode. I thought it was fun. I obviously definitely have some issues, but not probably with what you would think. I really liked Michael in this. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a really fun, like, I think they could have gone a little deeper with it. I think there could have been a little bit more there. It did feel very like, okay, this is it, this is it, this is it. Okay, it's done. I didn't really like Michael just kind of was like on the journey, but for some reason it didn't feel like it was long enough for her to really get into what they were trying to do. I liked what they were doing. I loved her performance. I didn't really see, I think I'm one difference with like, I didn't see Book as like that. Like, yeah, sure, he was more eccentric, but it wasn't like, he wasn't like, hey girl, hi. Like, I didn't, so like, he was fun. I guess I just wouldn't say he was fat. Like, he was
All
good.
drag is valid. All drag is valid.
The girl, his drag was subtle. His drag was subtle. It wasn't giving she, her, it was giving they, he, which is a completely illiterate way to put that, but it's fine. We're gonna roll with it because I'm also very crossfaded and had to fight with that. I don't know. And my only other to finish this off, I really liked it. I loved her tactic. That was my favorite. I told Jared, like, I'm so happy that she proves herself. Not that she had to prove herself, but like that proved her captaincy. Like that was a good tactic that was like very Trek. And I just really hate how they're writing the brain. I hate how she did the very subtle, like the very like, oh, the second in command, I'm gonna turn you against your Primarch. And like the Breen to me were always a little more like buttoned up. Like they didn't like waver on their decisions. They just made them and they followed them, and it was more, and it seemed like this made the Breen seem weaker. But I mean, it's also 800 years in the future, so who knows what's happened. So no, I liked the episode. I thought it was really good. Very solid. And
I'm hoping that they're setting up the Breen for something more. I agree with you. It's a little one-dimensional right now. We got some cool stuff about their political intrigue, but then what we saw in this episode, it was very like, oh, there's a funeral. Oh, there's tension between
You know what
It,
it's
it,
giving? Like, my thing I realized this episode was I don't know if all Star Trek writers know that every enemy of the Federation isn't the Klingon Empire,
yeah,
because it's giving Klingon this episode. You just redress all of that, and it's the Klingon Empire. Like, there's
yeah.
no subtlety, no real like shifts. You still have the powers, the houses, the different like. So
The
I'm
six
just
factions, yeah.
yeah. Like, I could have been like we could have done a lot more with the Breen, and I'm
I
just
mean,
like,
it's Klingon if you bought it from Timu.
well, sure, yeah, no, it's not as deep, but like, it's not giving anything different than like, oh, you have warring houses and you have an honor system and you have like, I like the Breen to me were always like this force that you just are completely unknown. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, Trevor, before we turn it over to you, we have another subspace transmission coming in. Ken, welcome. How drunk are you?
Yay!
I'm not drunk at all. Nope, not a bit.
That hand flip says otherwise, but carry on.
Not
I'm only
not
3 drinks
not
in.
Ken,
one. What? Yes,
Ken,
Matt. Come on,
have you been
bring
telling your
bring.
bartenders things you would never tell your doctor? How
Yeah,
many
you
of
tell
those
bartender
medicinal?
things. Sometimes you tell things to your bartender that you'd never tell your doctor.
Kenneth, what were your top thoughts on this episode?
I only saw it once, and I actually my first thought was that we had, as I mentioned to you, Stan, because we saw it together. Um, I thought we had somehow drifted into a Doctor Who episode because it seemed very weird, sort of Doctor Who vibes with the library and everything. But I thought actually that it was very well done. It's hard to believe that there's only less than a handful of episodes left of this whole show. But I think that it was good. It was interesting to see Berman going through the labyrinth, and it was interesting to see how they mix a lot of stuff into this episode. And I caught Matt's comments about the Breen being basically Klingons light, and I agree. Sorry, it's kind of dark here, but I'm on an island with 6 other castaways. But it
Mary
was
Ann,
good.
is
It was
that
a
you?
good. Yeah, Mary Ann's over there. You don't want to know what she's doing. Wow. Anyway, um, so I thought it was good. I thought that once again, I was very upset that we didn't see Doug Jones and Saru. I thought that was disappointing. But I thought all the other characters were good. I thought that Book playing 2 parts. I thought that he did a great job. The actor did a great job doing 2 parts. Yet another situation where a captain is trapped in some sort of computer labyrinth situation and has to reveal his or her secrets and comes to term with his or her weaknesses and strengths and sort of spill the beans about her or him. I think that was a Trek trope that they used, and they used quite well. Michael Burnham, Sonequa did a fantastic job. Yeah, so that's sort of my top thoughts, and I'm sure we'll dive into it. It was nice to see another someone who was also the president of the Federation in Star Trek 6. That race, nice to see that race come back finally again.
The Afrosians.
Yes, that's it. That's my top thoughts, and
All
I'm
right,
not drunk.
Trevor, close us out.
So I think this is going to, when all is said and done, probably take a place in among my top 5 episodes of Discovery. And I know that's aggressive, but part of the reason is that it's such a sort of weird departure. Like Ken's reference to sort of the Whovian-ness of this episode, I think is one of the reasons why I loved it so much. It's just a different take, and it does all of the things that everyone has said that it did, including, just to kind of reiterate, let's just hang a lantern on a character trait for Michael Burnham that some people love it, some people are very critical of it, but like, let's just talk about it. I love that they did that within the narrative of the story, that it was essential to the plot. Maul actually kind of grew on me this episode, but maybe like a fungus. So we'll just go in that direction. Also, like, I'm not suggesting that this is something that like you should ever do to a woman who uses these words, but like when she's just like, I'm pregnant, so I'm in charge, like maybe ask for evidence. Like, I don't know that you turn an entire empire over to someone because they claim to be pregnant. That's just a little assertive, and a little presumptive. Um, that said, an interesting twist that I know we've sort of alluded to possibly her being pregnant, but I didn't necessarily think it was so. So apparently, once again, everyone else knew something about Discovery that I didn't. But I liked
Wait, was that confirmed?
I was like, wait, what
I
was
don't-
I watching?
I think that's still just a
Isn't it?
theory. I don't think in this episode.
Maybe
It-
you all said it. Maybe
No,
I'm
I
just stuck
think
on you all
it's-
saying it, and I'm
I
drinking
heard
too
somebody
much.
say there's a theory. The theory is they think like it, I think it's still.
I
A
at
theory.
one point said
don't
I
think this
thought it
episode-
was. I was like, she's pregnant. Like I one point said.
Am I
thought she
confusing
might
things
be.
you've said with things that have happened?
Yes.
I think
Okay.
I
so.
know
It
why I
sounds like
thought
it.
It's gonna come out looking
maybe.
like flubber.
All right. Well, okay, whatever.
I watched the
Um,
episode for a third time today, trying to
Oh,
write
see, I
down
only watched it.
notes.
I only watched it once, and I was listening to you all afterward. So,
Whoops.
and I had some of this, so I should stop listening to you all. Anywho, she's growing on me, and she grew on me this
fiber
episode.
drink. Yeah. You need to switch to the fiber drink, baby.
I guess so, but she's growing on me, and she grew on me in this episode, and I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I felt the same way. It was like she's grown on me, but I still don't like her. I like her more than I liked Ruan Tarka, for example, but like that's not hard.
That's not a stretch.
Yeah. Excellent top thoughts as always from everybody. Let's dive into it. Let's talk about this badass bitch. I love Tyrell. I love the new Zordon. I love everything she's giving. This-
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say this character could very easily go annoying, but she didn't. She wasn't too bubbly. She was just enough Glinda, just enough of whatever. Delightful. She was lovely. It's super funny, and I just loved it. Thoughts on Hyrule?
I love her so much. I want to be her best friend. I thought this character was something that we need her to interact with every Starfleet captain from here on out. Like, I want to see I don't know why. I am in love with this character so much. I could not stop watching her. I loved every second she was on. It was just kind of that confident, campy, but fun, but not over that. Like, you're like, it wasn't too far. Like, it was wonderful. It was, yeah.
And the way that she went
Was
for the
it-
brain, like, it's great. May you
The
gain
way
knowledge
she
elsewhere.
literally just says,
This is gonna be
"No,
shirts.
thanks." Like, oh,
This needs to be on a t-shirt. May you gain knowledge elsewhere.
Yeah,
Bitch.
she was a cool character. Yeah, she was very much a character that people like Matt would say, "I want to be your best friend." So that's basically what she was trying to do, and I think that that's true. She's the one that made me think this is a Doctor Who character. She would live perfect in the Doctor Who universe. But I think that she was very much Glinda the Good Witch. There was elements of that. She was, I can't think of any other character in the Star Trek pantheon that is even close to her, which is a great thing because you want that kind of differential after 500 plus episodes. So that's really cool. And yes, Joel, it was a bit of a Time Lord outfit. Maybe she's Gallifreyan. Maybe that's what it was. Wouldn't that be cool? And you heard Doctor Who say we need to visit those guys on Star Trek. So you never know. Anyway, that's my thoughts about her. And it was great again to see the race only appeared twice, right? The Navigator in Star Trek 4. Oh, look, balloons. Wow, it's not even my birthday. The Navigator in Star Trek 4 and the President of the Federation in Star Trek 6. So cool. Anyway, I'll stop my ranting now, and I'm not drunk.
No, listen, Tipsy Ken is delightful.
Yeah,
I love it.
honey,
I'm
you're
glad
very
you're
drunk.
having a great time with your family. I love this vibe for you.
Thank you. My family does not, but I am glad that this family does. That's good. I appreciate that.
This is an STLV preview.
Me a creepy dog.
All right. Any other thoughts on Hyrel and the burn of the century? The better of the burns. Yeah, I said it.
I
The
love
better
that
of the
character. No,
burns.
we're moving on. No, I love this character. She's great. I know. Hopefully, she'll make an appearance in. I mean, like, bring her back for Academy. Like, I love the character. She's great. She could
As
have gone
the
very
Academy
wrong. Very
librarian.
yeah, bring her back. Like, it could have gone so wrong. But like, I'm trying to find the actress because I want to see more stuff she's been in because I loved her so much in this role.
I looked
cannot
her up
find
because
her.
she looked so familiar. I found her on IMDb and I do not recognize her or her other credits at all. But like, there was just something about her vibe that looked familiar, but isn't. But apparently she was in an episode of Schitt's Creek, and I need to double check. That might be where I'm pulling from.
I can't find her.
Matt,
Anyway,
Matt, you raised
she's
your
an
hand.
icon. That's a future mother. We have more
No, I was
mothers.
swatting
She's
it.
part of the mother crew. That's a future mother. She's serving.
She is my mother. You know what? She would be my library guide.
Yeah, she's the one
library
with
card.
too.
It's too late. You already picked Quark, and he's wearing that dress.
Even better with the hair and the ears. My only thing, and I don't know if this is more for now or more for later when we talk. But like that library has all of the most like important artifacts and one of a kind things, and it doesn't have like the galaxy's best defenses. Like in my head, if that's there, like anything, it should be able to just like shut down anything and be like, no.
Well,
I
to
don't
be
know.
fair, Memory Alpha had no defenses against the Zetar, the lights of Zetar. So there is a Trek tradition of these things not having the right kind of defenses.
That's a fair point.
Protect your
It's very
libraries, y'all.
Starfleet.
I did like references to the Badlands.
Yeah.
So, can you imagine? I thought about this as they warped into the navigation beacon. All I could think of was, what if we saw an old derelict DS9, like just kind of floating there, and it was like the Badlands had expanded out and like something, but like just
To the Bajoran system.
Yeah, like what?
How dare
we
you?
don't know. We
You
don't
leave
know.
you leave the Bajorans alone.
800 years they got out.
They've been through enough.
I just
But
have this
like-
vision of Deep Space Nine slowly spinning by.
And everyone
No,
goes
you
down
didn't
and
occur.
goes,
Current.
You just do what they did to Empoknar. You tilt it, and you know
"No,
it's
yeah,
a bad
that's the
place.
thing." No,
Yeah.
you see it
Yeah.
go like this. You see it on screen. And everyone's like, "It's Deep Space Nine," and then it's like, "Wait, no, that's Empoknar." And then it goes around. It's like, "No, that's Deep Space Nine. No, that's Empoknar."
Exactly.
Tilted.
Sorry, a
Um,
little too lower deck.
Damn
but-
Cardassian space stations.
I did have that nitpick as well. Like, how did it get there? Like, does it break apart into smaller pieces to get through? Like, how was the Breen ship not damaged? Like, is there another way through? But like, there's always some kind of plot armor, plot hole in every episode of every Star Trek that has ever existed. There's always a, well, that doesn't quite make sense, right? And this was that the quota has been met for this episode. Let's get into the meat of it then. Let's talk about the labyrinth and the test. Michael Burnham gets to the manuscript, and then in a lovely Inner Light reference, gets pulled into a mindscape. They I forget the name, the word, the anionic beam or something.
Some kind of beam.
Yeah, the
Beam.
same beam that
Yeah.
got Captain Picard in that episode. Was
That highly
delightful.
overrated episode. Anyway, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Tipsy
Bite your drum.
Ken is the best Ken. Look at this.
Bite
No,
your
I mean
drum.
the inner light is a highly overrated episode. I'm sorry.
I
But anyway,
think you.
Tipsy Ken is spitting facts.
She's not.
Go off. Yes.
it's just overrated. It just is. But that's not what this is.
It's a
Salon
great
is about.
episode, but it is overrated for sure. I'm with
Yeah.
Tipsy Ken.
Yeah,
Listen,
no, that
between
is
Tipsy
highly
Ken
overrated.
and Stanley's Fiber, forget it.
Yeah, go
Just
go
don't make
home. You're
don't
drunk.
don't
I
mix those
mentioned
two up.
I mentioned having a drink that has fiber in it once, and now apparently I'm.
And
Gonna-
probiotic. It's got fiber and probiotic.
I
You're
don't know that
doubling
that's true.
down.
I was just saying that.
This is not going to help you get.
Basically,
Oh no, it does. It has
Probiotic.
prebiotics.
you're
Botanical.
basically
Better,
you're
stronger,
basically
faster.
Wilfred Brimley at this point, Stan.
Oh.
Diabetes.
My-
Yeah.
Diabetes.
Diabetes.
That's terrible,
Wilford
Trev. You should be
Brimley.
ashamed of yourself.
I mean,
Yeah.
that statement could be said at any point, anytime.
Everyone
any day.
focus up.
Okay.
This is the salon and I love
My
it.
God, Stan's trying to rein us in. This is a bad sign.
It's bad
Listen,
news. Bad news
no
bears.
one's listening to me.
Listen. Listen. No
Great
one's
Christmas English.
listening.
Don't make me come down there.
Jennifer Coolidge.
Diabetes.
Let's we're all going in like 6 different directions with our references. Let's rein it in. So Michael is pulled into a labyrinth of the mind, and we meet Cunty Book. I fucking love it. The director said, "Can you serve?" And he said, "Say less," and he did. I loved the humor of this. Like the whole thing was hilarious, but also like Burnham saying that her brain should have picked Tilly, and then her brain calling it out. I'm like, she would have been just as frustrating. So funny. I love like I mean, the great thing about Star Trek is being able to fall into these kinds of worlds. You get trapped in the holodeck, you get trapped in a mindscape, you're in someone else's body, like these sci-fi tropes and plot twists. The way that this one was executed as like the final clue was you need to acknowledge some truth about yourself to prove that you are worthy to have that you are worthy enough and that you can be discerning enough with this technology. I thought was a really good final clue. Like if this came first, it'd be a little weird. Something that I'm really enjoying in this season is the way that they're building up to it. It was like there's references to power and like only good people should have it and it should be at peacetime. But now it's like, no, like you need to, whoever ends up with this needs to earn it. It was so good. Thoughts on the mindscape, Matt. You're clacking away. Do you have thoughts
You're
on
clacking,
the
Matt.
Oh
Stop
my god! I'm
clacking.
sorry. I thought it was.
This is why the mute button exists.
Sorry, I thought I had clicked it. I'm sorry.
You didn't click it. You clacked it. Clack. Stop.
Look who's
All right,
back in the
Ken,
house.
take a breath.
Hi,
Take a
just
breath.
click clacking about.
Who has thoughts? Where is my?
I thought it was fun. I actually really liked how it was executed. I did to Jay, like to I don't remember who said it. To Jake. Jake was saying about where they filmed it. I thought that's such a gorgeous space for being like a real library in Toronto, because it's always in Toronto. So yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it was a fun romp. I didn't understand why she went over to the
History
decimal
section.
cards. Well, like
Oh,
the
they do a
cards,
decimal cards.
but like she didn't like open it up and look. Like that would have been my first thing. Like, oh, I'm gonna open it. Like she didn't open it. She just went, oh, history. I'm gonna go there. I don't know. That was kind of weird. But no, I thought the whole thing was fun.
Wouldn't it have been great if they opened by themselves and the cards started to fly out? It would have been a subtle crossover.
Little Harry
Anyway.
Potter.
Or
Yeah. Thank you, Matt, for referencing it. The Eternal Archive was filmed at the Thomas Fisher Rare Book Library at the University of Toronto.
And there's a lot of rare books. My gosh. Unless they kept using the same hallway again and again. I don't know.
I think there was I think there were some there were some special effects involved in the depiction of this library, Ken.
No, that's true. I'm sure there was, but when they got in close, never mind.
It's also, interestingly enough, not located in a giant distortion field of plasma storms.
So I know that it used to be.
And it was
Toronto.
It was still a lot of books.
It was a lot of books, and plus, how come you have books I mean, books back in the original series, books was such a rare thing that Samuel Cogley's like, books, my good man, books. And it's
So
like,
one might think
books?
you would place them in a archive of rare objects.
Yeah, but that seems to be all that was in there, except for
Oh.
that root thing.
I agree. There was a distinct lack of like other things other than what they show book from Quajon. It would have been like there was some props in there, but it would have been cool to have different sections to show like not just the book archive, but yes.
The better archive was the Section 31 archive. That was much cooler. Anyway, go ahead. Because it has the Genesis device and James T. Kirk. I'm just saying.
Um,
and a killer tribble.
And a killer tribble, which was awesome. We need one of those sometimes.
Attack tribbles are the best tribbles. What are we supposed to be talking?
Who knows?
We're talking about the library.
We have lost the
library.
plot. We have lost the plot.
The library.
God,
you saw the library, like in Sarpedon, they had the library with Mr. Adaz. Library.
Yes.
Those were little discs. Those were
Yes.
cool.
A to
Not
Z,
books.
get it?
Yeah, A to Z. Get it. Yeah, it was good. That was a good thing.
Okay, so if we're talking about the library, loved the library and all things in it, including the librarian. Move on to a different topic.
I'm really just acting. I'm not.
We are all struggling tonight.
Yes.
This is we're pushing through. I want the fans to know how much we love you for pushing through here.
Let's talk about.
No one's on page.
I love that her hair falls perfectly. Love that. Like I said, I love Cunty book, and then I also like to get serious for a moment. And I know Will, I want to hear from Will on this, especially because we were talking about it the other day, and I thought the way that you put it was lovely. But yeah, getting to hear Michael say the quiet part out loud. Her entire driving force, something that we as the audience have known since season 1, having her break it down, like Sonequa Martin Green, like the criticism of the show has never been about her acting. I know that for certain. She's an incredible actress, and her in this scene, like just a little tear. She's realizing, and she's thinking she's failing this test, but having this deep realization about herself that she's saying out loud, and even says it actually feels good to say it out loud, which I loved. Everybody should be in therapy, but getting the quiet part out loud was lovely. Will, I want to turn it to you first for your thoughts on this aspect of it, and then we'll turn it over to anybody who wants to share.
I feel the pressure because I don't remember what I said yesterday, but I think with Burnham having the introspective moment, I think it takes something that we thought was maybe a flaw of Discovery and turns it into kind of a story point that she's now like dealing with. And like, I think that the character needed more of a point to like look inward in a way that was a little more effective, like more like this kind of crosses a couple of lines. Like it does address like the kind of overall criticism that some people have with Burnham that I myself had with Burnham to a certain extent. And then to like make that criticism but place it in part as like a character, I think is really a smart piece of writing. Because before it just felt like they were writing Burnham to save the day constantly because it was just like the easiest way to do it. And now like that Mary Sue thing. But to have this kind of moment where she has to confront herself and like her fear of failure in a situation where she's set up to fail, really like kind of her Kobayashi Maru, like you would think that her as a captain, she would have faced that, but like, I'm sure that she would have approached it from a standpoint of being like, I know I'm going to fail, so I'm just going to fail it. You know, like not going it from a place of like actually like trying to solve the problem. Because you would assume that she would have had to ascended to, she would have had to have done it through the academy, unless she, I don't know, anyway, I'm talking in circles, but the idea that they've kind of roped this in to be a part of her character, which was then acted brilliantly by both David Ajala and Sonequa. That there's this idea that the writers turned something that could have been seen that has been a fault of Discovery and turned it into a growth moment for the character, I think is really lovely, especially in that moment. I will say one thing about the scene. I know that there's a ticking clock element, but I would have liked the ticking clock to be in the B plot, and in the A plot, I wish she would have been really old. Like she would have been in that library for a very long time and struggled to figure out why she can't solve the problem. And it's because she's the problem. Because it's herself. That was how, if I was to like fix it, I'd just make it that she had been in there for decades and decades and decades. And then figure out why, have a more inner light moment, I guess. It's a little closer to that point. But no, hopefully that's what I said yesterday. I don't remember, but
Roughly.
thinking on the thank you. Rewatching it today before this, I did find that I didn't become as annoyed with this episode as I have in prior ones. So I think that them roping kind of an overall criticism of the series into a plot point and into a character growth moment is very smart. Very smart.
I want to quickly go to a comment in the chat because I have an answer from the last stream that I was on. So because this was something I noticed as well, like, oh, so everybody has books, everybody keeps things, and Joel, who worked in the library for a while, also noted that you have to shelve books similarly sized, so non-books would be in another wing. So like this was the wing that we saw the book wing. But also somebody mentioned on Text Trek stream that apparently when book bounding became more of a thing, a lot of people who had the privilege and the resources of being able to do this kind of thing would take their favorite books and bind them the way that they liked, so that all of the random books and manuscripts and whatever that they had, which were in different forms, shapes, sizes, etc., ended up being bound in the way that they just happened to prefer it to look in their chamber or whatever. I don't know, but I noted that as well. But then I was like, oh yeah, we just saw the book wing.
Also, if you took a single edition of every book ever written on Earth, bound it and stuck it in a library, it wouldn't have fit in what we saw.
Right.
And that's one planet and one culture. Well, one culture by the 32nd century, obviously many cultures now, but it didn't seem that strange to me.
So what you're saying is that the library, the archives, might be bigger on the inside?
Everything on Discovery is bigger on the inside.
Potentially TARDIS-like.
By the way, I think it's really cool that it was a book that Sonequa had to interact with a book. It's a very meta.
You're not wrong.
And Hyrel, it's not often that a book comes to visit me. It's cute.
Yeah. So
book in a book.
Cool.
In a book.
Yeah. But I liked what Will had to say. I think that's very cool. I think though that if they would have done that and kept Sonequa or kept Burnham in there for a very long time until she got old, I think they would have been way too close to the inner light in plot. So, but it's an interesting concept.
Marginalized people often also don't have the luxury, right, of growing old and to figure out their failure. Like failure is a privilege when you're the only, when you're the minority, when you're the on the margin. Failure is a privilege, right? You don't have the luxury, which is why she's like that. Yes, it's some internal sort of struggle, but it's also societal expectations and cultural expectations that drive that. Again, back to that, you have to work twice as hard to get half as much sort of thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, I would say too that even
true.
if we're removing it from like our which that is true of like people of color in our society today, but even if you think of like the context of like Star Trek, with Sonequa being a human on Vulcan, and then that failure is going to mean more. She's going to have to work twice as hard. So like that all coming true, like the parallel, that is what makes Star Trek great.
Right, which
So
makes
that
right, 'cause
parallel,
yeah, she's been extraordinary in all of her situations. She's a
but she's
mutineer,
still,
the
but she's
beast,
still
but she's
considered,
still yeah,
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, Vulcan, human on Vulcan, mutineer who's now a captain. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean,
Mhm.
all of these things make her extraordinary. So she really didn't, or she doesn't have the privilege, right? Of,
Right,
failure's not an
right,
option, to quote
right.
Mythbusters.
No, it's great. Thank you, Joanne. That's look at us making points. Love it.
Let's talk about the new Kreen, as I've decided to call her.
Do we have to?
Yes. I have conflicting
Kreen?
thoughts. Breen, Queen. It's pulling two words
Okay.
together.
The Bream Queen.
Here you go. You can see it
I
written out now.
see. Got
The
it.
new Kreen.
So, before we get all like serious about it, when she killed the Primarch, does anybody else watch American Dad? Do you remember that episode when Stan was doing the swoosh move, like drop low, then swoosh? That's what she did to kill him. She dropped low and she
I
swooshed her
can't.
leg.
I can't.
That is so
roping
spot
in.
on.
Ah! Joe.
Oh.
I couldn't take her seriously after that. I mean, I don't anyway, but I was done.
American Dad. They get all their cues from Seth MacFarlane anyway, so that's good.
It's just, I can't. How the fuck did we get here? Is my question with her. Every single time she's on screen, I'm like, how the fuck did this after school special bitch make it this far in the plot of the final season of a Star Trek show? Like, this whole thing, my boyfriend is dead and I'm going to avenge him and you cannot stop me. I am now the queen. Like, I hate this whole plot. I hate it. I hate her.
It's quintessential Trek.
If we had just handed it over when it was like, no, I'm gonna get my boyfriend back. Poof, she's dead because the Primarch killed her. Now it's an interesting plot because now we're like, oh, that's the Breen we know from the Dominion War. He just killed a bitch to get what he needed. They're cold. We don't know what's going on with them.
But Matt, Star Trek would never spend 7 or 8 episodes convincing us that one person was the ultimate bad guy, only to change direction and tell us it's actually someone else. That would never happen.
But the thing is, they're not the ultimate. Like, that's the thing. It wasn't like the Breen were pulling the strings. It was like all of these things just fumbled together to get her from the back of an RV making out with her boyfriend, who happens to be a prince, to now. Like, I don't know.
Okay, first of all, we would never catch you dead in that wig, but we would catch you dead making out with someone just because he's a prince.
Yeah,
No, that's for sure.
So in
That's
fairness-
definitely for sure.
That actor is quite handsome.
And that's not even a
By
drag.
the way,
that's just a knowing and loving my friend.
By
But
the way, just as an aside, who thinks Matt should be a voice actor? Because he like does all these
only
crazy
if it's
cartoon
Marvin the
voices.
Martian.
That's right, only if it's Marvin the
Marvin
Martian.
the
Right.
Martian.
Marvin.
Right, that's true.
You.
But if anyone deserved that impression, it's Maul.
Right, yeah.
I
Oh.
agree to a point. I think they are doing a better job this season of laying out an interesting adversary and like, is it actually the Breen? Is it Maul? Is it Maul and Locke? What's going to happen? Like, what they're setting up something that could be fairly predictable, and then how they execute it will be the real question. Like, is he going to be resurrected, or is he not actually dead? Are they going to somebody mentioned this in the chat, which was a really interesting question. Are they going to have to choose between resurrecting all of Quajon or Locke to stop the Breen from going to war with the Federation? And are they going to make Book have to make that choice instead of the captain? Hopefully not. But like what they're setting up a lot of interesting things. I agree that I don't care for Maul. I found Locke much more interesting, and I hate being this person. I don't like saying the
And attractive.
actress. I wonder if it is the actress choices that I'm having trouble with. Is like in this episode in particular, she was doing a lot of this while she was talking, and like it just wasn't the right vibe. Like there was it felt cartoonish rather than
Maybe she
like
needs more fiber.
Squint and distort your mouth, and then we know you're a bad guy.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna talk like this, and you're gonna do what I say, Primarch, and
Stop it.
didn't
That's your
work.
always face.
Wow.
I want to like
my
her more
problem-
than I do is the thing.
My problem with this progenitor tech is it sounds very, very much like the Genesis wave. Like, what's the difference between the Genesis wave and this progenitor tech that they're lining up here? Anyway,
one's on a planet, the other's
You'll have to keep watching to find out.
One spread
guess
DNA
so.
across the galaxy, and the other blew up.
I'm sitting right here.
There's also a question in the chat. This is an open question. This is a theory that's out there. We don't know. What if she's pregnant and it turns out to be the resurrected Locke?
it assumes that Breen and human are compatible. Is
What if
Maul
he-
human? Have we?
What if
She is
the
human.
Locke actor plays the baby?
Like in What We Do in the Shadows. I mentioned this on Text Track stream. Colin Robinson's resurrection.
No, gosh.
It'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all of that said, I do think these are better adversaries. These are more interesting adversaries than we've seen. I do wish the Breen were made to be a little more alien. They're becoming a little like it was said earlier. They feel very Klingon. They feel very familiar now. I liked what they were giving us with like the political intrigue and different factions that are warring with each other. But then what we saw in this episode, like I said, they're setting up something that I think could be really interesting, but they took away a little bit. Voyager did this with the Borg. They took away a little bit of the mystery and the mystery of the Borg. However, what I think they got right in this episode with that dreadnought that I think Voyager kind of fucked up with the Borg is that dreadnought is not to be fucked with, but the Borg were quite easily defeated in several episodes in Voyager.
Okay,
So
we say that
they're balancing that
Dreadnought-
out a little bit.
They say that Dreadnought like isn't to be fucked with. Discovery took what 5-6 hits from it. Like
Yeah.
in my mind, like they should have like one hit is gonna take Discovery out. Like that thing's bigger than the starbase.
Mm.
Like so, I did think that was kind of weird. Obviously, I said I loved Burnham's tactic of it, but like it to me, that's where Jared and I were sitting there. We're like, oh, we were expecting like a dodge, like get around and like, oh, it's smaller, more nimble, so it can dodge it better. But then it like took several direct hits. And then
Discovery
it was
has
like,
the same technology as Space Dock.
Shield tech.
Okay,
That must be
but
that must be
like-
the same thing. I mean, how many
Yeah, it
hits did
has-
Space Dock take?
it has plot armor. Like but still,
Yeah,
like
right.
know, it
Plot
just was
armor.
like-
That's what-
that kind of took me out of it because I was like, oh, now they're not as scary. To your point, Stan, like with the Borg, it's like, oh, this Intrepid class can just take several hits from a Borg cube. No big deal. We got out of it. I don't know.
But the Borg
Yeah,
aren't
that
the only
drove me
ones who
nuts.
adapt.
Yeah.
You adapt, you learn, you improve your shields, you modulate the frequency of your shields.
Yes.
Yes.
You
reverse
release
shield
plasma.
polarity and yeah.
Yes.
All of these shots were really fucking cool. I loved all of the exterior shots in this episode. You could see things. We got dialogue for why they didn't do things, like you can't cloak because of the radiation. Loved it.
I did think it was a little weird to jump out and leave. Like, okay, Discovery was quote unquote destroyed in the jump. But they just left the archive there. Like that seemed like a very risky maneuver. Like why wouldn't the Breen fleshlight just keep destroying?
Captain Burnham was taking a Calculated risk with the Turgoon.
I kind of assumed there was going to be some sort of weird, like, we enveloped them in a shield that allowed them to jump with us. Like I was expecting that, and then when they were just like, oh, they just jumped out, made it look like they blew up, and hoped that worked. It seemed a little.
Yeah.
But once the leader of the Breen was killed by the American Dad move, then wasn't the idea that the Breen would back off because there was Breen archival pieces on the archive ship, and they wouldn't have wanted to destroy it because they made points of saying that the Breen really respect their own history and they wouldn't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
So they were. Yeah, so many books, too many books.
That would have. If I were Captain Burnham, that would have been my assumption. Like they don't truly want to destroy this now that they've got what they want. I got them to swear that they wouldn't in their most sacred whatever. Also, we got shit to do, so like calculated risk. We got to get out of here.
See, I saw it that way. I saw it as very pragmatic. Like, listen, we want to save everyone there, but at the same time, it's only 1,000 lives, and if we killed them, then like we did the best we could. We got to keep going, or the entire galaxy is gonna, crumble. I thought it was interesting. It only would take 6 hours at maximum warp for the Dreadnought to get from the Badlands to. So that means it's like.
Yeah, they did not hide
like
this stuff very well. They're hiding things pretty close to each other.
Yeah, because it took like 3 weeks to get from base. I mean, obviously, maybe maximum warp is a different. We can get into that whole topic, but like, it's pretty close to everything around the Dominion War, apparently.
Well, we know that Beta Z is close to.
Yeah.
Beta Z and Trill are close to DS9, which is like, next to the Badlands. So
it was all just a little like.
And we saw in Picard season 3, everything is an hour away at whatever warp factor you choose.
Though to amend my criticism from Picard season 3, it does make sense to keep your museum near your capital.
Yes. Tourism.
We do that now.
We do indeed. And Beta Z was indeed occupied by the Dominion.
Yes. Other thoughts on somebody referred to this as Lady Macbething the situation.
They're not wrong, whoever they are.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
As the Shakespeare scholar, not really, but sort of. Like that's the trope of Lady Macbeth becoming the leader. She just Anyway, I don't need to get into it. I've had 2 cocktails, but like. I don't need to. No one wants to hear my dissertation about Macbeth, but
we got time. Let's go for it.
Oh well,
I'm going through.
It's not really Lady Macbething, because what Lady Macbeth did is she manipulated her husband in order to kill the king. But she didn't. If Maul got Locke to kill the Primarch, then that would have been Lady Macbething. Right now, she's just straight up being a bitch. So that's it. Like that has nothing to do with Shakespeare.
No, it's true.
Well, I mean, that does.
Was a bitch.
Women being bitches, but like the women in Shakespeare, like you could call like that on like Coriolanus with Volumnia, but that was his mother manipulating him to do stuff. And like now, this is not Lady Macbething. She's giving Lady Macbeth because she's power hungry, but I just think Lady Macbeth just girl boss too close to the sun.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Okay, I really want to point something. I'm pivoting off this for a second with what Joel said about the Klingons are supposed to be in this season. Did I miss that?
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, I would hope so. It'd be nice to see them.
Yeah, I would love to know.
We're running out of time.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if they show up at like a final battle kind of moment.
Okay, so the collected works.
Flashlight, yeah.
Page 1115, The Tragedy of Macbeth. Let's just begin with.
Hey, I was in that. I was in Macbeth.
Wouldn't it be something?
I directed it.
Wouldn't it be something if they pull like a Newhart and the very last scene of the very last episode is a mutineer Burnham caught in a Klingon mind sifter, and she wakes up and she's just still.
That would literally destroy the entire fucking franchise. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Paramount studio, there would be an insurrection at the Paramount studio with a bunch of pasty nerds out there in the street Like if they didn't pull the new heart, that would be
She
the
wakes up in her
worst.
jail cell.
Oh yeah.
No.
Oh, took
Yeah.
a
No, it
nap.
would be when the ship's exploding and the force field. She has to like jump across. Remember in season one?
Oh,
Oh.
she did. That was the moment she died as she went across. Oh, that.
Yeah.
Except, yeah.
What a huge fuck
She
you
was
to
captured.
an entire cast and crew of people who wrote and started in the show. What a massive fuck you to all of them in their work. Didn't matter.
I hate to say that I would love that, but like deep down I would. I'm gonna be honest.
That would be
like,
pretty
oh,
fucking cool.
Matt's
That
gonna
that would
be
they
be
did
mad.
that.
heartless.
No.
To rip
Trevor, are you
out
reading
Ida's
Macbeth right
wound.
now?
Yes, I'll be with you shortly.
Shortly.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Almost done.
right,
What other aspects of this episode have we not talked about that anybody would like to? Joanne, you came off mute.
Well, I was gonna say, I was like, it's more Jezebel than Lady Macbeth, but then we got all Trev pulled out the book, so I just that's
Hey, no
Fair
cracks
point,
about the book.
Fair point.
Listen, receipts
Yeah.
will
It's
be
not
had.
really Lady Macbeth thing. It's
yeah.
not.
Yeah.
She didn't gain any power. She went crazy and killed herself. She drowned in a river. It's fine. Or she fell down the stairs. I don't remember how she died.
Did she
Anyway.
fall,
down
or
the-
was
the-
she,
she
did she
fell
fall
down the,
She fell-
elevator
no,
shaft.
no, she
Yeah.
went. She was
Like
going
Dr.
crazy. There's a
Pulaski.
moment
Because she
there's
was
a-
she was insane.
So welcome to William Shakespeare Corner. So Lady Macbeth dies because she keeps hearing voices, and because she basically makes a deal with the devil, her servant, and so does her husband, and the cost of that is a pound of flesh. So she goes crazy. There's a scene with a doctor and a nurse where she's like trying to clean blood off her hands that's not there, and then she dies. I think it's insinuated she killed herself, but like it's not ever shown because Shakespeare never shows any violence on stage unless it's Titus Andronicus. But anyway, Shakespeare. I need to use that degree somehow.
or teen suicide?
Surprisingly, the voice sounded like Marvin the Martian a la Matt.
Mine?
No, the voice of the devil. No, just
Oh,
forget
okay,
it. Keep
great.
going. Move on.
Thank you.
You do it.
Yes, Norman. Out, damn spot. Yeah.
No, to answer Randolph's question, nobody here has seen the last episode of Discovery. And if anyone has, say nothing. We don't do future spoilers. Only spoilers for what has aired for everybody.
I have not seen the last episode. Of
But
Discovery.
Stan,
Have
you
any of
already said you already did the spoiler of the twist at the end,
Which one?
where she just
She
wakes
kills
up. and
Dumbledore. Remember at the end?
Oh, she could. Yes.
That's the ending of Discovery. I've obviously seen it.
Yeah.
Chose Dumbledore.
I like Grayson's. This is interesting. My crazy end of season twist theory is that Discovery is the ship that the progenitors used to seed the galaxy in the past.
I'll
I
allow
actually
it.
really
I like that. That's cool. I like that actually.
That would be fun. And like, what if Calypso actually takes place in the very distant past and not in a future like we thought?
Except they've already said that it was a dream.
I mean, they've alluded to it. It wasn't.
They've
It wasn't.
suggested it was
Yeah.
a dream.
That's the most
Then-
explanation we're getting. I hate
Yes.
to tell anyone.
I
And
think
that's
you're correct,
fine.
and I'm okay
Then
with that.
life really
Okay.
is a dream.
Merrily,
Ken,
merrily.
Ken, drink some water.
merrily.
But
Merrily.
not,
You're
No, I
It's
was
not
just
a
quoting
dream.
Star Trek 5.
no.
One
I
of the best
I
Star
just
Trek
did
movies
too.
ever.
It was relevant.
listen, Ken. We always get it. We always get the
Of
reference.
course, I know.
I'm saying
You're among
drink some
friends.
water. I'm saying you
You're
need
among
you need to hydrate, boo.
And a
Will
snack.
you lady Macbeth yourself into the ocean?
You need a
Oh.
drink and some fries, Ken.
Okay.
The ocean. His arms open. Timba, his arms wide.
Ken in Aruba the last night.
Ken in Aruba. Yeesh.
Salon boys in Vegas.
Yes.
Their arms
Is it-
wide.
His elbow bent.
It
His
shall
elbow
happen.
bent.
Final thoughts on
The
this
flashlight
episode.
moved.
What?
Hmm.
Final thoughts on this episode before we
What
come
does
in
time
for
for a fart walk mean?
Because it's venting
does that
more
mean?
plasma.
They're
It's
venting plasma.
gases.
Oh,
They're
I
vent-
see.
Yeah, they're venting their gas.
It's a plasma
I
tube.
see. Okay.
Hi.
The thing's got to have a tailpipe, doesn't it?
Silent but
Oh.
deadly discovery.
Horror for the
Yeah,
win.
things gotta have a tailpipe. Ooh, Star Trek 6, a horror for the win.
Yes.
A
Always.
horror Ricks for the win.
You
A
want- you need
horror
some attention,
Rex.
don't you?
That's
For the
not
win.
what I said. May have been what I
No.
meant. It's not what I
No.
said.
You know?
Cheers to Kirkland Sparkling Prosecco.
All right,
There you
we're
go.
bringing this mess in for a landing. Any
the
final
Starship
thoughts on this
landing-
episode?
I think it's very interesting that we've got 3 episodes left. Is that right?
2.
2
Yeah.
episodes left. Oh, 2. And so they say that these 2 are going to be part 1 and part 2, and next week is Jonathan Frakes is directing it, so it should be
Yeah.
pretty cool. Yeah, we'll
Let
see
us
how they land this thing. Will they land the ship?
Well,
We could land the shit. Yeah,
thank
you're
you.
welcome. It gets worse every time.
Oh, I love it every time though. It gets better and better. Ages
It
like
does.
a fine wine.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
I am
Wait,
the nation's
what's
number
that?
1
Shit.
Catherine Janeway impersonator. Thank you so much.
Yes. All right, y'all. Matt, you were gonna no. Suck it down. Bottoms up.
She's both
Matt?
of those things.
Matt, stand up.
Matt, bottom with hole wide open. Yeah.
Oh my god.
With
Where is this
hole
going?
wide open.
I've been sitting on that for a while. That's what Matt
And
said, too.
with that,
We should sit on it.
I want to thank you all for being. God damn it. As
is a rough
always,
one.
this is the best part of my week. Super fun, delightful.
Norman's
Yeah.
right. Norman's right.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yes, yes.
He's got to keep us honest.
Listen, we've all been a little off today. I have been off. Like, I think I've probably missed like 3 of those for sure. Always delightful. Before we park this thing, Trevor, give us the tallies, please.
Before we sit on it, only 2 problematic gay alerts. That's downright depressing compared to last week. 1 tosser alert, 1 cannon alert. It was a head cannon alert, but I count those. And like to point out that I count them every time I count them.
Unlike Will counting head cannons as real cannon.
Correct. No, that pisses her the fuck off.
That's the opposite.
Bonus points. 500 to Matt for being smart enough to bring a bartender with him on virtual adventures of self-discovery. 100 proof points to Ken for sassy tipsy realness. 1,500 bonus points to Will for Will's William Shakespeare corner. That's hard to say, especially after 2 Nanaritas. 250 bonus points to Norman in the comments for instructing us when to press the button, and he was right.
Yes, thank
And
you.
2 million bonus points to David Ajala for pure unadulterated fierceness.
Yes, for serving. I also want to give us a bonus Beverly alert for those. I can't think of it. You say eagle-eyed for when you see something. Who has good hearing? What animal has good hearing? Any? For those elephant-eared, for those rat-eared watchers of
I
X-Men,
said that.
bat. For
She
those
said bat.
Bad.
She said bat.
Oh, I'm
Holy
so
bat
sorry.
earring.
I said rat when he said bat. How could I possibly have misheard that? Come
Matt
on.
said
Holy-
that. You
Matt said
Matt said
bat, not
bat.
rat.
Matt said bat, not rat.
We had a universes crossing together with Gates McFadden voicing a character in the final episode of the first season of X-Men 97. Highly recommend folks watch that show as well. It is full of queer joy and fierceness and just awesomeness. And Gates McFadden is in it.
And technically that's 2 Bev alerts because there was one in the pre-show chat from Krista who is spending an evening with her husband. But she did trigger a Bev alert in our comment thread. So
This is true. So thank you all for joining us. My thanks to my fellow saloners as always. Really appreciate you all in the chat. We love it when it's a lively chat. We love to hear your thoughts or read your thoughts. Another shameless plug to please subscribe to us on YouTube. It helps us get out to more folks. So if you're watching us, go to YouTube at Salon Trek. Make sure you're subscribed. Check out our old videos, comment, share it with your friends, encourage them to subscribe. And of course, follow us on the Twitters and the Blue Skies. And we will see you all next week for the 9th episode of Star Trek Discovery Season 5, Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific. And until then, we hope everyone lives long, and prosper. I'm gonna land it.
Live long.
Live, laugh, love.
Live long, long.
Oh no.
Mess. Nothing but mess today, and I love it.
Live. You're
Y'all
still
the-
live, people.
Y'all are the
Listen
best.
to the
Mute
breath.
yourselves. I'm ending this trip.